Hypothalamic obesity is a certain form of obesity that occurs as a consequence of damage of the hypothalamus in patients with a craniopharyngioma. That is a tumor that grows in the midline and reaches typically the area of the hypothalamus.
Well, I have an 8-year-old son that had a craniopharyngioma, had it removed 2 years ago. He had hyperphagia immediately after surgery once he healed. And that has been the hardest condition to manage and deal with.
The type of obesity is related to, in particularly hyperphagia, that is unleashed appetite, and so those people never feel satiated.
From all the conditions that she suffers after the craniopharyngioma, the hyperphagia has been the most difficult and life-controlling for our daughter.
They're always thinking about her food because they are not satiated. So, this is, I think, a burden for those patients and also their families.
I guess she's 21 now. She was diagnosed at 7. We are looking for a job for her now, and it's so difficult because it can't be around food. It's just such a life controlling.
They have also low energy expenditure. So the balance between energy intake and energy output is really tipping over towards weight gain.
Having HO meant that I all of a sudden was just gained a bunch of weight. Like it wasn't 10 pounds. It wasn't, 30 pounds. It wasn't, after Thanksgiving weight. I was, almost 150 pounds heavier after the day I had my tumor removed.
I started doing research in hypothalamic obesity a long time ago already. I was a resident and I took care of one young lady, an adolescent, and she had craniopharyngioma and severe hypothalamic obesity. And she told me that sometimes she just does not get full and she needs to empty the whole refrigerator because she's not satiated. And I found this so shocking.
We lock the pantry, lock the refrigerator, and also have an alarm.
You have to be on all the time, 100% on all the time. You have to lock things up, hide things away.
My other son doesn't even live with us anymore. He decided to go live with his dad. Jesse will have outbursts over food, throw things. So my teenage son was afraid for his life because if Jesse's holding a knife, he'll throw the knife. Because I'll say don't have that much, don't have that many grapes or whatever, right? I lost my teenage son from my house because of the hyperphagia.
With the hyperphagia and the HO, he realizes quickly what is wrong with me. He literally went from weighing 50 pounds to 107 in less than 2 years, and he weighs 7 pounds less than me as his mom, and he's only 8 years old. And so I'm scared. I'm really freaked out because I'm on it. I try to be on it with everything that he eats and every little thing to where the best possible outcome for him, and we're still failing, I feel like.
Maybe I worked out 4 times a day after, when I was allowed to work out. And it's the constant feeling of, you're living a healthy life, but the reflection in the mirror doesn't paint that picture.
Typically, if we think about lifestyle interventions, we see a certain response rate in common obesity, but typically it does not work very well in hypothalamic obesity. The same is true for drugs. We have now several drug intervention studies in common obesity where we have relatively good results, but we are still missing really profound weight reduction in response to drug interventions in hypothalamic obesity.
I'm not sure what to do for my son anymore, other than holding on to the hope that some medicine will come around and help this poor child.
There is no protocol for this weight gain, and I think all of us have, our kids are diagnosed at different ages, at different stages, at different levels. There's not an answer for us. And I think a lot of us are just what the hell, what do we do?
I just I wish it wasn't so painful, and it wasn't so he wasn't suffering so much, because he really is suffering with this, and there's nothing that any of us can do about it.
And overall, it's being able to explain day in and day out to people who don't understand what you're going through. That is the biggest challenge.